Robinson's ball for McKennie! And now it's closed down.
The United States might be the team people underestimate.
From distance, it's McLaren!
Right up until the bracket closes around them.
The edge of the box, and he scored!
That is the version of this story I keep coming back to.
It's Brian White, and he scores!
Because when people talk about the 2026 World Cup favourites, the names come fast.
Off the edge of the area, Clark!
Argentina, France, Brazil, England, Spain. The US shows up more like a side note, more like a host nation people are curious about.
I think it's good to see, new guys and just kind of a new fresh team, and just kind of reinvent ourselves and kind of figure out our style and how we're going to play.
Than one they truly fear. I think that's a mistake. Not because this is the best team in the tournament on paper, it's not. Not because every position is world class, it isn't. I'm saying it because this team has a real path to becoming the surprise of the tournament if a few things click at the right time. And the weird part is, the foundation is better than people think. Mauricio Pochettino is the coach now, and that changes the feeling of the whole thing. He officially took over in September 2024, started work in January 2025, and was hired with one purpose in mind: get the US ready to make real noise at a home World Cup. That matters. This is not a placeholder coach. This is not a federation guy trying to keep the room calm and hope the talent sorts itself out. This is a serious coach with real standards, real club pedigree, and enough personality to make players feel a real difference the minute they walk into camp. And I think the players have felt it. For a while, the US had talent without enough edge. Good names, good club situations, good social media edits. Then the games would start, and the team often felt a little too safe, a little too clean, a little too easy to figure out. Under Pochettino, the pool looks tougher. Not perfect, tougher. There is more pace, more size, more directness, more urgency, and more competition for spots. That is a healthy place to be. One World Cup out from kickoff. Quick pause. Those who are not subscribers, subscribe and tell me which team you want next, because these World Cup breakdowns get way better once we stack the contenders and the dark horses next to each other. Now let's get to the group, because that matters too. The US landed in Group D with Paraguay, Australia, and one more UEFA playoff winner. That playoff path includes Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo. This is not a nightmare draw. It's a draw that gives the US a real chance to build momentum, and that matters more than people admit. Some teams arrive at a World Cup and spend the first 10 days just trying to survive. The US have a route where they can actually grow into the tournament. That is a big deal for a host nation. You open at home, the crowd is with you, the travel is familiar, the weather is not a mystery, the noise is on your side for once. If the US start fast, the whole tone around the team changes. You can feel it already. They don't need to win the World Cup to become a problem. They need to get through the group with confidence and let the pressure move onto whoever draws them in the knockout round. And this squad has enough pieces to do that. In goal, there is real competition. Matt Turner still has the reputation and the big game background, even though Matt Freese has pushed the conversation by starting 13 of the last 14 matches coming into this March camp. Chris Brady and Roman Salantorno are there too. I still think Turner probably has the inside track if the tournament started tomorrow, though the point is that the US are not walking into 2026 with one guy and a prayer. At centre-back, Chris Richards feels like the key. He's grown into this role. He looks more comfortable now, more authoritative, more like a defender who understands he's not just filling minutes. Miles Robinson gives athleticism and recovery speed. Mark McKenzie is still around the picture. Tim Ream brings the old man calm every national team secretly needs. Austin Trusty gives another option. This is not the deepest centre-back group in the tournament, though it is better than the lazy version of the conversation makes it sound. The fullback picture is where things get interesting. Anthony Robinson, if fully healthy, is massive for this team. He gives speed, width, recovery, and that left-sided burst that changes how the whole attack looks. Joe Scally gives a steadier profile on the right. Alex Freeman, and Max Afston bring different attacking ideas. Tim Weah can solve that side too in certain game states. Sergiño Dest is still injured, and that matters, because at full health, he raises the technical ceiling of the whole back line. Even with that, I still think this group has enough flexibility to work. Midfield is where the US can quietly become dangerous. Tyler Adams is out right now, and that hurts, because when he's healthy, the whole team feels more balanced. He covers mistakes, closes gaps, and gives the game a meaner edge. If he gets back in time and looks like himself, the whole projection changes upward. Johnny Cardoso has helped soften that problem. Weston McKennie is still one of the most useful tournament players in the pool because he can do the ugly work. Late runs, duels, second balls, and chaotic box-crashing stuff that wins tight matches. Gio Reyna is still one of the best pure technicians in the setup. Malik Tillman has become hard to ignore. Aidan Morris, Tanner Tessman, Brendan Aronson, Christian Roldan, Sebastian Berhalter. These are not all stars, though they do give the coach different textures. And texture matters in tournaments. Some matches need control, some need legs, some need one clean press between the lines, some need a midfielder who will happily make the game a little irritating. The US have more of those answers now than they did 2 years ago. Then you get to the attack, and I think this is where the surprise angle gets real. Christian Pulisic is still the headline. Of course he is. He is the best attacker in the pool, still the player most likely to decide a big moment, and still the guy every opponent circles first when they build the scouting report. What I like more now is that he does not have to drag the whole attack by himself the way earlier US teams sometimes asked him to. Folarin Balogun is a serious option. Ricardo Pepi is a serious option. Patrick Ojimon gives a different look. Tim Weah is useful in almost any front three shape. Haji Wright is not in this March squad because of a groin issue, though if he gets healthy, he makes the pool deeper. Even Josh Sargent and others around the wider picture have pushed the standard higher over this cycle. That means the US finally have a real striker conversation instead of a yearly argument that ends with everybody shrugging. That alone changes the attack, and the numbers are not empty either. Balogun came into this camp with 13 goals in all competitions and Monaco's February Player of the Month award. Pepi also had 13 in all competitions for PSV. Ojimon had 10 for Derby County. Those are not fake, he works hard striker resumes. Those are actual scoring profiles the coaching staff can use. The best thing Pochettino has done so far might be widening the pool without making the team feel random. That is hard. A lot of national teams call in new faces and end up looking like they're holding open auditions forever. The US used 56 players in 2025 and still closed the year 8-2-2 in their final 12 matches. They went unbeaten in their last 5 against FIFA top 40 teams, with 4 wins in that stretch. They smashed Uruguay 5-1 at the end of the year. So this is not chaos for the sake of it. This is a coach stress testing the pool and learning who can actually help when the temperature rises. That is a smart way to use a cycle. And that's why I think the US are being framed too cautiously ahead of 2026. Do I think they're the best team in the world? No. Do I think they're in the very top row of favorites? No. Do I think they're good enough to be a team that ruins somebody else's bracket and suddenly turns the whole tournament weird? Yeah, absolutely. Because look at the ingredients. Home crowd, manageable group, Pochettino on the sideline, Pulisic at his best age for a World Cup, McKennie in his prime years, Robinson, if fit, changes the pace of the flank, Balogun, Pepi, and Weah giving the attack more punch, Tillman and Cardoso adding quality, a healthier, deeper overall pool than the one people still picture in their heads. That is not a miracle setup, that is a real opportunity. And I think the ceiling is quarterfinals with a live shot at the semifinals if the draw breaks right and the health holds. That might sound optimistic, though I think it's fair. A round of 16 exit would feel flat on home soil. A quarterfinal would feel like the right step. A semi-final would be the kind of run that changes how the whole country talks about the men's team. And here's the part that I really believe. The US do not need to be better than France or Argentina over 10 matches. They need to be better for one night. Tournament football is weird like that. a strong goalkeeper performance, one Pulisic moment, one Balogun finish, a set-piece goal, a red card going the other way, one crowd-driven spell where the stadium gets hot.
It's just what they needed.
And suddenly a favourite is going home talking about margins. That is why this team matters. They are not perfect, they are not finished, they still have injury concerns. Adams and Dest are huge names to watch. The backline still has to prove itself over a full knockout run. The goalkeeper call could still shift. There are questions, sure. I still think the broader picture is encouraging. The US team is tougher than the old version, faster too, better in transition, more dangerous with runners, more serious in the coaching seat, and the host nation factor gives them something you cannot really quantify until the tournament starts and the noise gets real. So yeah, I think the United States can be the surprise of the 2026 World Cup. Not because it sounds fun, because the path is there, because the squad has more options, because the coach is good enough, because the group is workable, because playing at home changes things, and because one or two players getting hot at the right time can turn a solid tournament team into the country nobody wants in the other half of the bracket. So now I want your take. If the World Cup started tomorrow, how far would you trust the US to go?